Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in today's video I'll be discussing what I thought of that interesting announcement we got earlier today. You know, it's always a good day when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed or wherever you are online during the day, killing time, and you see a story like the one that I saw earlier today, which made me very excited and intrigued, is that Universal has yet another Universal monster film in the works. This time, it is a new take on the classic Phantom of the Opera story coming from music producer and singer John Legend, husband of Chrissy Teigen. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, but she's one of the two co-hosts of that funny lip sync show where celebrities lip sync against one another with songs and whatnot. They're both very recognizable, talented people. Anyway, so John Legend, her husband, is going to be producing, and I don't know if he's going to be writing the music for this, maybe. Yeah, well, it's definitely producing. John Legend, guy named Harvey Mason Jr. and Mike Jackson. Basically, these guys are going to be doing a new musical adaptation of Phantom of the Opera, but instead of being set in the early 1900s in an opera house in Paris, France, it will be set in modern-day New Orleans, Louisiana. And I guess it's going to be set to the backdrop of jazz. Oh, what the... Sorry, I got my laptop open with the news story on it. Some ads started playing. My apologies. So I've got the story right up here, and it popped up earlier today online, and it sounds like despite it being a musical, it's still going to be rooted in suspense and horror. And I'm particularly intrigued about this because I do like the Phantom of the Opera. It's never been a favorite Universal monster of mine, and I say monster because, let's be honest, he's like the only Universal monster who actually isn't a monster. He's just a disfigured human who happens to have a horrible scarred face, which is why he wears half or the full white mask, so he looks monstrous, but just a disfigured, sad, disturbed human.
Awesome.
Damn it.
I bought it using the cash from...
Sorry, thought I shut that off. Anyway, but what I remember, my first exposure to Phantom of the Opera was years ago, and it wasn't the 1925 film. I would only watch that many years later. I actually watched that a few years ago for the first time, the 1925 film with Lon Chaney, which was great, and I loved that iconic looking scary makeup and his overall look for the Phantom. And but my first exposure to Phantom of the Opera was actually the 1943 Claude Rains film. That was the first time I'd ever heard or seen the title Phantom of the Opera. And that movie did something to me where I had, up until that point, a movie had never invoked an emotional or sad reaction out of me. Well, I mean, movies had made me feel a lot, but this was the first film to make me feel incredibly sad and just heartbroken. Sorry, stupid ads. Anyway, and the part that I'm talking about, of course, is during the film, before he becomes the Phantom, he's written a new piece of music that he wants to try to sell and, get money for and become semi-famous for it. And he hears it being played. He thinks somebody else, another musician, has stolen his work, but in reality, the other musician was actually just showing or playing for another musician. Hey, isn't this piece great? This guy wrote it, and I think he's really talented. And of course, it's a horrific misunderstanding, and then one thing leads to another. He ends up accidentally killing the guy, and then he ends up getting scarred terribly, which is when he turns into the Phantom, or he dons the Phantom persona. And my heart just broke for him because it was just so tragic that this terrible misunderstanding occurred. But if it hadn't, the movie wouldn't have happened. But it was the first time a movie really made me sad, like incredibly sad. And it's the perfect example. The Phantom is the perfect example of one of the few sympathetic Universal monsters. I think Phantom, Wolfman, and Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein are probably our most, and the Gill Man are probably our most sympathetic characters. Dracula, since he's conniving and cunning and intelligent and pure evil, not as sympathetic, but still likable. But Phantom is definitely one of those very sympathetic characters. So he might not be, a non-human monster or scary creature, but he's a monster of his own making, and he's extremely sympathetic despite the terrible things he does in the story. So the thing that's got me intrigued is the description of the film that I believe the screenwriter, whose name is John Fusco, he just teased the film, and he said, "This is set in the sultry nightlife scene of modern-day New Orleans, the world of jazz, R&B, neo-soul, and funk. The French Quarter, where New Orleans is not only known as America's most haunted city, but the music, French Creole culture, the voodoo mystique, masquerade pageantry of Mardi Gras just lent itself to a natural adaptation of the Paris setting and a story that has revenge, unrequited love, and mystery." And those last three parts there, the revenge, unrequited love, and mystery, are exactly what make the Phantom of the Opera story so good and captivating. It sounds like they'll be applying those just to a new modern day setting in New Orleans, Louisiana. And because he teased the using of voodoo mystique and the Mardi Gras pageantry, the Phantom is going to fit in well with the Mardi Gras crowd, because that is a big costume-wearing party, and everybody's got those Phantom-type masks that hide most of your face, so he'll fit in just fine. So I'm very excited, very curious to see what's going to happen. I noticed it is not being done through Blumhouse. It is still Universal, but keep in mind, just because Blumhouse has a few Universal monster films doesn't mean that Universal is just limiting Blumhouse to only doing those characters. It seems like they're just saying, hey, you got the right story, the right project, go for it. You got our backing. So still being done through Universal, so I'm excited for it. This is, I think, going to be hopefully an interesting, fun, and of course, most importantly, scary movie, and it'll be a fun, fresh take on the Phantom of the Opera, and I'm looking forward to it, as I hope you guys are too. So, what do you think about this big announcement? Are you excited, or do you not really care because it's a musical, you don't like musicals, or are you a big musical fan? Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear from you. Have an awesome rest of your night. There is no release date yet since they just announced this, but I believe for now it is just titled Phantom. Not necessarily Phantom of the Opera, just Phantom. I think that's the official title, but we'll see in due time. So hopefully we'll learn more as the film finally starts production, and who knows when that'll be. So, but it's exciting to know it's coming. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Thanks again for watching. And of course, until next time, may the force be with you.